Identity. Here's the thing. I used to only work out because I thought it was about weight loss. I used to try to fix every part of myself that was imperfect. When I would look at myself in the mirror, I hated what I saw. And all I would see are every imperfect part of myself that I hated. I would see that things needed to be fixed, and so what did I do? I put myself on a calorie deficit, and I ruined my body. I hated it. So I did everything I could, and I've lost weight. I've been skinny. I posted the, before and after pictures and all the things, and yeah, I lift weights now, but it's not for weight loss. Like, this is actual health. This is not, oh my gosh, you're fat, Tiffany, and you're imperfect. Let's fix that. No. I can lift heavier weights at the gym. On the seated row, I can get up to 190, probably do 200. I'm going to do that when I go back on Monday because it's closed this weekend because it's Easter weekend. When I do the leg press without weights, it's 130 pounds. My hamstring is strengthened. My body is stronger. I feel much better. I have the inner strength and to get to my destiny, as well as a strong mind and strong body, but I didn't always. The identity piece comes in. I was born, and then by the time I was 1 year old, I was placed in foster care. My biological parents, for whatever reason, decided that drugs and alcohol was their choice, and so because of their lack of choices, we got removed from their home. And so I didn't get to stay in their home. I have no recollection, so my entire life I lived in foster care. The part about foster care that many don't know is that parents, not every person should do foster care. It's another video. Not every parent is designed to do foster care. There are some foster parents that I had that I do not believe should be put in prison, but the rest of them should. There are only maybe 3 sets of foster parents that I had that, in my honest opinion, everybody else before then needs to be put in prison. But they weren't. So, anyway, it's a long story. That's another story that I will share as time goes on. I've been given permission by him to share my story, and there's going to be parts of my story that come out that's going to, might trigger, ruffle feathers, but I've already let everybody know in my life that I'm going to be sharing my story, okay, that it's time. So my identity was skewed. I didn't know that I was biracial until I was 13. I didn't know I was half black and half white until the age of 13. I was placed in an almost adoptive home, and they were all white. I had no, that I recall, African-American interaction except with one mixed kid named Jeff, and we all looked different, but we didn't know why. So that identity skewing spilled over into my whole life up until 2021. You mean to tell me, Tiffany, up until 2021 you had an identity screw up? Yes, I did. I hired a mentor and a coach. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's still my mentor to this day. I love her, Xtina Harmsworth. She spoke life into me and all the things. And something that I realized is I didn't know who the heck I was. So I would see parts of myself. I would look in the mirror and I would hate myself. And yes, I love Jesus. Yes, I've been in the church, but yet I was one of the people that would go to church, and I would sit there and I would speak all the stuff over myself, but still didn't believe that I was loved and I was valuable and I was cherished and I was amazing and that I was worthy. And yet when I looked in the mirror, I saw myself as unworthy. This has a lot of emotion in it. And every time I looked at myself, because people, starting from the time I was born, tried to change me. My identity was already messed up. I tried to change myself. At the age of 11 or 12, I remember having literal outbursts, sitting at it in front of a mirror, trying to fix my hair and make it perfect. Because my whole life, people didn't see the perfection, that I was perfect. I didn't see myself as perfect. People tried to fix me, and I tried to fix myself. Wow. Whew. Anyway, so my whole life, I just hated parts of myself. I used to put myself through the ringer of like weight loss routines because I thought I had to look perfect, but in the meantime, I deprived myself of nutrients and the calories that I needed, only to get cheered on by people who yes, they were encouraging me, but what they didn't know is that they were encouraging a disorder. They were encouraging a lack of worthiness. My self-worth suffered, and I saw myself as a worthless piece of garbage, and that's how I acted. Because I was, my whole life, like, I was that kid who was abused, abandoned, neglected, trashed, verbally abused, religiously abused, mentally abused. I even honored my abusers unknowingly. That's part of my story, but that's for another time. So my identity, because I didn't see myself as gorgeous, as beautiful, as amazing, as confident, as courageous, as worthy, I traded in my worthiness for what I would call, I put myself through the ringer, through a beating, because I didn't know who the heck I was. So I changed who I was. I changed my voice. I changed how I acted, all because I didn't think that my voice was worthy to be heard. I didn't think I was worthy to be seen. And every time I looked in the mirror, guess what I saw? A broken trash heap, unworthy. That's what I saw. That's who I saw. So I tried to fix myself. And so now, here's the deal. What's happened since then is I no longer feel the need to fix myself. Yeah, I see parts of myself and I'm like, come on, girl, what do we need to do to get back in the swing of things, to get this back on track, you know? And it is, I need to love myself. I don't need to go after the next nutrition program. I don't need to go after the next starvation method just to make myself fit in smaller clothes, because that's not loving myself. That's seeing myself through a lens of imperfection and not loving myself. It's like, how the heck can I lead women to know that they are worthy to be seen and heard if I am not working on this behind the scenes? So now I work out because it gives me a strong mind and a strong body. And I have the inner strength that I need to get to my destiny. Hear me when I say this. We say, okay, I come from a background of church. Now, I love church, I love God, and I love Jesus. I am also out of the box. And the way that He designed me is not to sound like everybody else. Not to be like everybody else. And there are going to be things that I say that aren't going to sound the way that everybody thinks that Tiffany should say them because, oh my gosh, she's a Jesus lover. God did not create me to be like you. Now that's going to ruffle feathers. Oh, by the way, it has. And I don't see myself like everybody else. I don't see that I should be everybody else. So I say this because now I see myself as worthy to be seen and heard, regardless if I have makeup on, regardless if I wear something that looks, you know, fitting and beautiful, because I am beautiful. That's how I see myself. I don't, you know, I used to go to church and I was the one who sat for years, my whole life going to church. I sat feeling filled with shame and unworthiness, that my pearls were just getting smashed and squashed and my crown was broken. I was broken. And yet I'd go and I'd quote all the right things, right? I'd say all the right things. I'd sing the songs. I was part of the worship team, which I loved. I loved singing. I gave words. I was allowed to speak words of edification to the church, which that's where my gift started, of speaking. And I still didn't see myself worthy. I sat with a lot of shame, body shame, shame of everything, just filled with shame, unworthiness, and it showed. So I put myself through so many things, and people, which honestly, I'm going to say something that sounds harsh, but if you're not sure if someone is pregnant, don't ask. I don't care how curious you are, just don't ask. Just because a woman doesn't have a flat stomach doesn't mean she's pregnant, okay? Because I've been asked, and I'm like, who are you, you rude cow? Like, how rude? That's rude. I don't care how you put it. Well, they're just the nicest person. I don't care. That's not nice. Don't call me nice, because I'm not. I'm kind. I will look at you lovingly and say, you know, not sure why you felt it was okay to ask me that, but never ever ask a woman if she's pregnant just because she looks pregnant. Okay, thank you. So, that to say, by the way I look is healthy. It's not unhealthy. I am not fat. I'm not overweight. I'm not imperfect. I am healthy. And I feel really good about myself. I'm strong. Y'all, these don't happen overnight. I have been going to the gym for almost 2 years. This takes time. Well, Tiffany, it doesn't look defined. This is defined. When I have the crown picture that I put up, man, this is the biggest that I've ever seen my guns, okay? My arm guns. I'm going to use words carefully. My arms, okay? My biceps. By the way, that's a term, a phrase. Anyway, so I lovingly say that because Facebook has a tendency to delete videos because of certain words said, meaning you don't mean any harm by it. But identity has everything to do with weight loss, because if we don't see ourselves as worthy, we will put ourselves through tremendous pain, and we will hate our bodies thinking we're loving our bodies because we don't see ourselves as worthy to be seen, worthy to be heard. We just don't see ourselves as worthy, period. So with that being said, this is Easter weekend. And yes, I'm going to say this because it's what I am going to say. He sent his son for us, yes, to put all that unworthiness and shame on the cross. But do we wholeheartedly believe that? Do we really believe that he came, he died, rose again, so that I can live freely, so that I can live in freedom? Do we believe that? Do we believe that we're worthy? If we don't believe we're worthy, I'm telling you, we're not going to show up in a way. We're going to show up in an apologetic state that causes people to question why we're not proceeding with confidence. I was that person. You mean to tell me, Tiffany, that up until 2021, you suffered with unworthiness and lack of confidence, and now you're leading women to embody confidence? Yes, I am. So, they get results within 3 days, a very short amount of time. So, that being said, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? So, with that being said, I'm going to eat something, and then I'm going to go to work. Y'all have a blessed and amazing day. And do me a favor, tag somebody, and will you please share this with somebody who needs an encouraging word to let them know that they're worthy? Say, hey, I was thinking about you today. You never know what a word can do for a person at just the right time. You never know what people are going through behind the scenes. You would be amazed at how many times a word spoken out of love raises people back up to life. And it even saves a life. And I'm not fluffing myself. I'm just a messenger. That's it. So, this weekend, really, like, get in your heart. Know that you're loved. You're worthy. You're worthy of being loved and seen and heard and valued and cherished. And you're worthy of that. So, okay.